Speedway Report is produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for Racers Reunion Radio. Well, Garrett Smithley showed us all what not to do in professional NASCAR racing. Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick shove and talk and take away from Brandon Jones' first win. And the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame celebrated their 25th anniversary. All this and more coming up. Welcome to Speedway Report for Monday, October the 21st, 2019, from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Yes, Jillian, I saw you subscribe last week. Thank you so much. It's great to have another noob come along and be a part of our budding family. Now, she'll never, ever miss an episode of Speedway Report, whether she wants to or not. That's the kind of friends we need. Jilly, thank you so much for being part of the Speedway Report YouTube channel. Let's jump on over to our Victory Lane lap and tell you who won what. Autumn weekend, the tracks, the tours, the circuits were starting to thin out a little bit. Some championships are decided already. Seasons are over. Some more championships are shaping up to be, well, some are runaways, some are barn burners. Let's go through some race results. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series was in Kansas yesterday. They went 400 miles. Denny Hamlin took home another downforce victory. On Saturday, the Xfinity Series went 300 miles. A lot of action in this race and after this race. Brandon Jones, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, takes his first career Xfinity Series win. NHRA was down in Dallas, Texas after leaving Charlotte, North Carolina here the week before. And Billy Torrance was your winner in Top Fuel. In Funny Car, Matt Hagan took his third win of the season. And goodness, let's step back to qualifying. John Force, at 70 years old, gave us his 160th quick time in Funny Car. I look at what it takes to be quick time once in your life. Force, 70 years old, 160 quick timers. In Pro Stock, Greg Anderson, nothing to sneeze at either. Career win number 94 yesterday. And very common, Jerry Savoy took home the win in Pro Stock Motorcycle at the end of the ladder. One of the biggest dirt late model races of the year was held on Saturday night in Portsmouth, Ohio. The Lucas Oil Late Models staged the Dirt Track World Championship. And after the race, $100,000 went into the bankroll of Brandon Shepard. World of Outlaw Sprint Cars were out in piggybacking the NASCAR weekend in Kansas. On Friday night, they ran at Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City, where Donnie Schatz took the A-Main. And on Saturday in Missouri, David Gravel was your winner. The ARCA Tour staged their series finale Friday night at the Kansas Mile and a Half. Christian Eckes won the race and wins the championship. USAC Midgets raced on Saturday night in Hopstadt, Indiana. Jason McDougall was your winner of the A-Main. And yesterday in Hickory, North Carolina, well, the late model stock cars of NASCAR tried to go for the fall brawl on Saturday night for 200 laps. Mother Nature had better ideas. It turned it into a Sunday afternoon matinee. Taylor Gray led all 200 laps for the win. Gracie Trotter kept him real close at the end as she pushed the issue. Couldn't quite get by him. The stats will show Gray led the whole race, which the first 100 laps was pretty mellow and chill. Trotter kept the pressure on him with a great finish. Very exciting, close finish. Now, let's talk about the on-track action, and there was a lot of it. Some of it off-track on pit road, but let's talk about, oh my goodness. I got to talk about the biggest goof up I've seen in a long time in the world of racing, and I've driven on the street stock level and some of this stuff. So I'll throw, the pavement late model world. That's my experience at this. Garrett Smithley, don't know you, dude. Got mad respect for any race car driver. You guys know me. If you're out there with a helmet and a fire suit, I've got respect for you. However, what Garrett Smithley did on Saturday was the dumbest thing I have seen in a long, long time by a race car driver. Didn't see it? Let me set it up. Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell dueling hard for the lead, coming up on the lapped machine of Garrett Smithley, who was at that point in time 3 laps down, 4 laps down, something like that. They came through 3 and 4. Garrett Smithley's got the 2 left side wheels on the paint going down the apron. Fine. Here come the leaders barreling up on him. 1 and 2. We're going for the win. Come out of turn 4. Smithley lets that thing slide right out in front of the leaders. Briscoe and Bell get into each other. The wall into Smithley. Major carnage, major accident. This brought back the comments that Kyle Busch made about a month ago in Las Vegas, criticizing guys that don't have much late model experience or wins, and they're out there in the upper levels of NASCAR. Some people were on Busch's side. Many others took Busch to task for speaking out against Smithley. Smithley came out and defended himself, talking about his experience and his accomplishments and his resume in racing. Yeah, he's a back marker, doesn't have the greatest equipment in the Xfinity Series, but you did get in the way of the leaders. It happens. This one here that happened in Kansas on Saturday, inexcusable. There's no excuse. There's no justification. There's no but this, but that, but nothing. There's no Chase Briscoe. There's no Christopher Bell. Garrett Smithley, what the hell were you doing? There is no way he was even looking in the mirror. There was no way he was even cognizant of what was going on, which is shame on him. Smithley talked about this after he left the infield medical center. Said the 2 leaders were running a higher line, and he looked in the mirror and didn't see anybody behind him, so he thought he was clear. Horse hockey. Dude, you, as a race car driver, have to be aware where the leaders are. That is your responsibility. We're going to get into spotters and mirrors here shortly. Be patient, everybody. Bottom line is the guy in the seat, in the helmet, needs to know and be aware of what is going on around him. The 2 leaders were coming up on him. If he could not see cars in the high groove when he's in the low groove, he, one, has a broken mirror, has no mirror, or needs to learn how to use a mirror. There is no excuse for not knowing Briscoe and Bell were there. I was watching this race on TV, and Smithley comes through 3 and 4, and I'm watching Briscoe and Bell thinking this just makes all the sense in the world for Smithley to just hang it down on the low side and give the leaders all the outside lanes they want. Give them 2 lanes, 4 lanes, 8 lanes, 25 lanes, whatever you need. Let the leaders go. This got to be the simplest thing in the world. So Briscoe and Bell are hammered down because they're so much faster than them coming up on the outside of them. And there comes the roadblock. Smithley just dives right up in front of them, going so much slower than they are. Now, I don't know, there's no excuse for not seeing in the mirror. Where was his spotter? We always rely on spotters so much. The spotter said that he said something. Smithley said his spotter said something, but I didn't get the memo. What the hell does that mean, dude? You didn't get the memo. Are you listening to your spotter or not? Did your spotter call it or not? Either way, the driver should have been aware. The spotter should have told him. If the spotter didn't tell him, spotter needs to get the hell out of here. You're not qualified to be an Xfinity spotter. If the spotter told him and Smithley didn't hear it or pay attention to it or was cognizant of it, then Smithley's not good enough to be in the Xfinity Series. Smithley talked about how hard it is. Now, this part, I agree with Garrett on this one. This is hard. Xfinity NASCAR level racing is hard. Point 2, it should be hard. This is a professional level of auto racing. In stock car racing in the United States, this is only one level down from the top series in the country, the Cup Series. It's supposed to be hard. It damn well better be hard. I can't do it, but if you're out there, you better be able to do it. There's no excuse for this type of things. We make mistakes. Stuff happens. What happened on Saturday, is something that you should have learned a long, long time ago. This is fundamentals. This is basics. There is no excuse for this. If you haven't learned this by now, how to avoid the leaders and be aware of when they're coming up behind you when you're a slower car, then you are not qualified to be in the Xfinity Series. If the spotter did not call that, he is not involved. He's not good enough to be in the Xfinity Series. If the spotter called it, fine. Driver, one more notch on the bedpost there, because you can't be doing that. This is inexcusable. There is no way you can make that move and consider yourself qualified to be in the Xfinity Series. No way. Absolutely no way. Inexcusable, ridiculous, never should have happened, shouldn't happen again, because if that's how you drive and want to come up with excuses about it, you ain't good enough. You're just not good enough to be an Xfinity Series driver. Shame on what happened on that one. That was one of the worst moves I've seen in a long, long time. Two guys that were mad at each other again after the Xfinity race Saturday at Kansas. The Cole Custer versus Tyler Reddick showdown. Showdown. It is really tough to get a fist fight going on pit road because everybody is surrounded by the pit crews. The cars come up, drivers get out of the cars, crews are there, and they're all ready to go to bat for their guys. So you really get more of a scrum. There's no fist fight, really a good fist fight, like the Allison brothers and Cale Yarborough in turn 3 on the last lap of the Daytona 500. They were all alone out there, and it was just them. On pit road, it's pretty hard to get anything happening. But let's replay this one. What the heck happened here? Well, first of all, I'm tired of guys whining about racing me too hard. This is more of the pussification of the United States, and it trickles into NASCAR stock car racing. A guy's whining, racing me too hard. It's supposed to be racing. It's supposed to be hard. Again, we should be racing each other hard. See all those empty seats in the grandstands? It's because you guys aren't racing each other hard. You want to, and we're whining about something that happened within 10 laps to go. Cole Custer was out front. Tyler Reddick was down below him with a 10-lap to go restart. Reddick never touched him. Cole Custer got into the fence all by himself. Wanted to blame Reddick, but Reddick never touched him. Look at the replay. There's daylight between those two cars the whole time. After the race, Cole Custer came up to Tyler Reddick. Here's the quote from Custer. "All I did was put my hand on his shoulder and he went berserk on me." End quote. Hey, Cole Custer. And he's been a guest on the show before, mind you. Bingo. You put your hand on his shoulder. Tyler Reddick's attitude, you don't touch me. You touch me, Reddick grabbed him with 2 fists back. Here's Patrick's personal form of etiquette when it always came to racing, and guys in general. You want to yell at me, run your mouth, make a point, calmly discuss. That's all well and good. That's fine. We can talk, we can yell. That happens. As soon as you touch me, it's game on. Guy code of ethics. You put your hand on his shoulder. You said it, Custer. All I did is put my hand on his shoulder. Exactly. Bingo. You put your hand on his shoulder. Reddick deserved to lay you right out. You just grabbed him back, and then the crew guys got in, and everybody's got a headlock and a leg lock and everybody else. So there's no punches really thrown. There's really no chance to, because everybody goes down, and it's just a rugby scrum there. But exactly my point to Custer. You touched him. As soon as you put your hand out and lay your hand on him, touch him, poke him, grab him, something like that, it's on, dude. Talking is over as soon as the contact is made. One guy puts his hand on another guy. I don't care. NASCAR, IndyCar, forget auto racing. Forget the sport. I'm just talking 2 dudes in a bar, 2 dudes anywhere. We're yelling, we're screaming, we're fighting, we're arguing. I got all that. As soon as contact is made, it's go time. It's go time. There's no more discussion. Talking is over. You grab me, I'm going after you back. It's done. Forget it. And they should have, Reddick just defended himself. He did what he should have done and supposed to have done. Now, these guys got the week off, but we're going to Texas this week, another 1.5 miles and a very fast one at that. Dangerous place for payback, but I don't see these two really getting along or burying the hatchet anytime soon before we head to Fort Worth this weekend. But Custer, you put your hand on his shoulder. Quote, all I did was put my hand on his shoulder. Exactly, Custer. Bingo. You put your hand on his shoulder. Of course he's going to grab you back. You asked for it. That's what happened there. That's just man on man, guy to guy etiquette. I complained a lot about the Xfinity series. Well, if you want to call it complaining or just observing and giving my opinion, I do have some bright spots. I'm not going to complain for the entire show. And I spent some time this past Saturday. As a matter of fact, Saturday was a bang day. This was right before the Xfinity Series race here in Mooresville, North Carolina. I went to the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame as they held their 25th anniversary of the Hall of Fame there existing. It was a brainchild of Don Miller. He's put so much behind it. It's a 501(c) nonprofit type of event, type of place. So not a budget, not a lot of volunteers, a lot of donations. That's how the thing works. But it very much had a Racers Reunion type feel to it. Now, newer fans for Speedway Report that don't know the history of this show, we started on the Racers Reunion Radio Network, engineered out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where they had a whole lineup of racing shows. That's where this show originated in another title in a little bit different form, where I was pretty much a call-in voice talent. Now, I write it, produce it, film it, create it, engineer it. I do all the work on it. It's my baby now. But it started and was nurtured at Racers Reunion, and that had a pretty good representation at the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame. First guy I see there is Ray Lamb, old Ray Tona. He's at most of the events around here in the area celebrating stock car history, and it was good to see Ray Tona there. Got to catch up with Ray Lamb, and some of the bigger cars that were parked right outside was a Sam Ard Oldsmobile, the 00, the Thomas Brothers Country Ham Machine, late model sportsman car, and Ronnie Thomas's Pontiac Grand Prix on a rollback, a flat rollback truck that he used to haul to the racetrack with. I want to say it was 81 or 82 where Ronnie had the type of rollback, but he had the car there restored, looking good. The hauler was there looking good, shined right up. And it was fantastic to see how we used to do things on display. Bob Hissam of the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame called me up a few weeks ago, invited me over. Bob, a fan of this show and a big part of Racers Reunion, and he made sure I got an invite, let me know about it. It was great to see there. When I walk in the front door, who do I see first? The legend is there, Tim Leeming. I didn't know he was on the air at the time, so I walked in the front door, I run up to Tim, and I start running my mouth. I didn't know he was live on the air. He just uses an iPad. He doesn't use his cool microphone, boom mic, that I use. So he's got an iPad because he's technically savvy. He's actually doing a radio interview. So I interrupted him. I didn't mean that. I didn't do that. But then I had to go on the air. I was privileged to go on the air with the legend and talk to him. And if you want to hear about his shows, give a plug for his stuff. His stuff is live on Tuesday and Thursday nights. If you're friends with him on Facebook, he posts it on his page. But he didn't even know how many social media platforms and websites he's on. But Tim Leeming is great. He started a show talking about the ghost tracks. You've gone through a lot of the material for the ghost tracks that are no longer there. So they started interviewing younger guys, up and coming drivers from different forms of racing, not just stock car racing. But he talks to road racers, guys in the open wheel cars coming up through the ranks. And it was good to catch up with the legend. He interviewed me on the air, but I had to wait a little bit because I got bumped for a bigger name. How big? Pretty big. Tim talked to Bobby Allison before he talked to me. I will gladly wait for Bobby Allison. He's accomplished a whole lot more in this sport than I could ever dream to. But Bobby's a good dude. And it was great to see him again. Great to see Bobby Allison. He got on the air with Tim. They chatted for a while. Then I got on the air with the legend. We talked a while. We joked and laughed about the internet fights we used to have. So much fun with him. But some other guys we saw there. I saw Jerry Cook there, NASCAR Hall of Famer, 6-time modified champion. Randy LaJoy was there. Mike Sykes was there. Cliff Champion was there. Don Miller was there as well. Saw Ronnie Thomas. So many folks. Steve Wade was there. I'm probably forgetting some other folks, but it's so good to see all these folks that had such a big presence on Racers Reunion with Jeff Gilder so many years ago. And that was the essence and the start of Racers Reunion, was to preserve auto racing history. Different shows, different formats have followed with that. Jerry Smith and Stars Radio focusing on short tracks. Bill Pratt and John Bockelman with the drag racing show, Draglist Live, that comes up after our show. So many folks we saw in Mooresville on Saturday. Really felt like the roots of Racers Reunion. And when we started all this, gosh, I've been on the air about 9 years, doing this 9 years in some form of this show. So many guests, so many conversations over the years, and it was great to see everybody. North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame. It's on Nob Hill Road in Mooresville, North Carolina. Please, when you're in the area, swing by. Check out the gift shop, check out the museum, some great cars out back of all forms of racing. And it was great to see everybody on Saturday. Before we get out of here tonight, we want to say hello to one of our special listeners. He's here each and every week, Jack Red. He had a birthday yesterday, 85 years young. If you're watching us live, it was Sunday, October the 20th. This show, Speedway Report, is Jack approved. Jack, your birthday is Patrick approved. Thank you for being with us each and every week. It's great to be part of the audience, or have you part of our audience each week. You were a big part of Racers Reunion, or a big part of Speedway Report. Thanks for listening to our show each week. 85 years young, dude. The best is still yet to come. Great to see you with us each and every week. And we want to pay our respects to Dave Despain and Motor Week Illustrated with our Speedway Report Racer of the Week. A few less races, saw a lot of legends, thought about some history, wanted to go back to what happened on track as opposed to so much that I talked about tonight that was on track or off to a tangent. With all the racing, all the big events, the toughest wins, the toughest performances, the biggest deal, I want to give this week's Racer of the Week to the winner of the Dirt Track World Championship in Ohio on Saturday night. Brandon Shepard is the Speedway Report Racer of the Week. In between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of auto racing with SpeedwayReport.com. We've got all of our past shows archived on the site, so if you want to download some podcasts for a road trip, especially with the holidays coming up, head to SpeedwayReport.com. Hook up and connect with me on social media. On Facebook, it's Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds and Racers Reunion. On Twitter, it's at Speedway Report and at Speedway Pat. RacersReunion.com in the forum. We've got all these shows archived, and I am also on LinkedIn. Go see a race at a track near you. The season is winding down. A lot of places are already shut for the year. Get out to a racetrack quick before it is too late and we're complaining that 2019 went by too fast. Big thanks to all of you that tuned into the Facebook Live feed tonight. I want to thank all of the military past and present for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You have been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and you can follow me on Twitter at Speedway Pat. Now, right now, go to the Drag Racing List page on Facebook at the top of the hour. Drag List Live is coming up in a few minutes. Bill, John, and Barb got the latest with the Straight Liners. We'll be back live here on Facebook next week. It will be Monday, October the 28th. We will look at NASCAR Cup and Trucks in Martinsville, Virginia, Eastern States Weekend at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Middletown, New York, and World of Outlaw Sprint Cars in Port Royal, Pennsylvania. Thank you all for watching. God bless. I'll see y'all next week.